Recently, we've gotten some concept art for the main poster of Little Nightmares 3. In these concepts, we can see pretty clearly the outline of a man in the mirror behind Low and Alone. A lot of people pointed out a faint silhouette of a man in the finalized poster, but looking at the concept art, we can see this outline a lot clearer. Namely, we see what look to be shoulders and a collar for a shirt, or perhaps the lapels of a jacket. While it still isn't 100% confirmed that the main enemy of Little Nightmares 3 is the Mirror Man, it's been very heavily theorized that he will be, and even though we can't use concept art as evidence, concept art does point us in the direction that the creators of Little Nightmares 3 want to go with Little Nightmares 3. It points us to the direction, it points us to their thought process. It isn't 100% confirmed, more like 89.6% confirmed or something like that. Needless to say though, the Mirror Man has become a hot-pressed point of discussion, and I've seen a lot of people not know that he's actually a returning character. They don't know a lot about him at all. So today, I'm going to be talking about all the information we have on the Mirror Man, where he comes from, some theories of mine surrounding him, and his place in the world of Little Nightmares, and just overall introducing him. My name is The Overman, and welcome to my channel. Before we start, however, I want to inform you all of my Patreon and Discord server. If you want to generally support me making more videos like this, as well as supporting me create more animations, such as the rest of the Sounds of Nightmare series, and more original animations, such as my Hanging Man one, go watch that one. I think it's really good. It's one of my favorite pieces of art that I've done. My Patreon is the most streamlined way to support me financially. And if you want to join a community of other Little Nightmares fans, or just fans of the channel in general, join my Discord server. We have a place to share theories, share art, and overall it's just a place to hang out and interact with new people. All of my links will be in the description. Thank you for your support, it means the world to me. The Mirror Man is a character we first see in the 2017 Little Nightmares comics. Now, originally, these comics would have shown off, I believe, 4 mini-stories. It was supposed to have 4 issues, but unfortunately, these comics were cancelled halfway through production. However, we still got 2 stories, one centered around the enigmatic North Wind character and one of the mysterious Mirror Monster. I adore the North Wind, but unfortunately any talk of him will be shelved for another video. Today, the focus will be the Mirror Man story. The second issue, the issue in which he appears in, starts with Six dragging a music box to a campfire surrounded by children. She shows it off to them, and the so affectionately called Humpback Girl freaks the hell out and smashes the music box upon seeing her own reflection in it. She then tells her story, why they should fear reflections. One night, her and her friends stumble upon a haunted, abandoned house. Her friends peer pressure her that the house is safe, that there's nothing to be afraid of. They say this line more than once, that there's nothing to be afraid of. She is the only one who senses the danger of the house, and yet she goes in anyways with her so-called friends. Upon entering, we see the house's chandeliers light themselves, haunting. Exploring the house, they see a plethora of funhouse mirrors that the kids look into. These mirrors show the kids their biggest fantasies. One boy wishes to be big, and he sees himself as big. Another wants to be tall, and he becomes tall. Eventually, still skeptical, our girl looks into the mirror. But what stares back is not anything good. The Mirror Man shows up behind her as her eyes glow a mysterious blue. She tries to run away, only to see all of her friends have been swapped out with what they saw in the mirrors. The Mirror Man snatches one child, and all of the other children work together to try and escape. They hatch a plan to use the girl as bait, and then smash the mirror the man is in. Once they do, her so-called friends are fixed, but she herself is seemingly warped into a monster. Her friends then abandon her, leaving her alone in the house. Alright, I've covered the story. Let me tell you all my interpretation of it. The children talk of the haunted house like it is some school-wide rumor, right? Like it's the talk of the town. However, keep in mind, they're in the nowhere. There is no town of which there is a rumor to spread. So why are these children talking about the haunted house like it's some rumor in their town? Well, my theory might be a bit out there, but I think that all of the children, except for the Humpback Girl, all of her so-called friends aren't real. I don't think they exist. The Mirror Man, as portrayed in the concepts and poster for Little Nightmares 3, has a head of smoke. Smoke and mirrors. The phrase smoke and mirrors is defined as meaning the obscured or embellishing of the truth of a situation with misleading or irrelevant information. The obscuring of the truth with misleading information. I think that the Mirror Man is trying to mislead the humpback girl into thinking that she has a group of friends and that she's still in the waking world, obscuring the truth that she's in the nowhere by misleading her into thinking that she's safe in the waking world. The mirrors in the Mirror Man's domain act as funhouse mirrors for the other children, showing them idealized versions of themselves and then changing them into those forms. But with the girl, she isn't changed at all. We never see her change. In fact, she's the exact same as when she entered. She only supposedly changes once the Mirror Man is defeated. The Mirror Man is a master of illusions, of smoke and mirrors. He orchestrated all of this, the fake children acting like the house was safe to lure the girl inside. The fact they changed at all, pre-mirror breaking, shows that they weren't real, that they were just illusions being controlled by the Mirror Man. The children also act like they aren't in the nowhere, like they aren't in some nightmare realm. Perhaps the Mirror Man has the kids talk like this to distract the girl from the fact that she is in the nowhere, lulling her into a false sense of security. Unfortunately, she sees through the Mirror Man's trap. Naturally, she tries to escape. But I think in the end, the Mirror Man essentially fakes his own death, having one of the illusion kids break the mirror, to let the girl go. In the end, it looks like she was transformed into a monster, and in the end, the Mirror Man essentially won. It seems like the story's all wrapped up in a neat little bow. However, I don't think the girl was actually transformed at all. The Mirror Man supposedly has the ability to change children like he did with the other kids and the way he did with the humpback girl. Except for if the other kids were illusions, then he would be able to change them anyway, right? I mean, they're fake, they aren't real, and if he has the ability to change the way they look, to change the way anything, if he conjured them, of course he'd be able to change them. They're just illusions. So how is he able to change the humpback girl? She's real, she's tangible, unlike the other kids. I think her transformation is also an illusion, in a way. I don't think she was actually transformed. I think she thinks she was transformed, but she actually wasn't. Near the end of the issue, we see her transform. Except for we don't. Throughout the entire issue, she looks the same. She looks like just a regular child. All the way up until the end of the issue, after they break the mirror, and the tall boy drapes a cloth over her, and then all of a sudden she has a hunchback. We don't see her change at all. We don't see any transformation. We just see a cloth get put over her and suddenly she looks different. I don't think she was actually transformed. One other thing. The one part we consistently see of her is her hands and her eyes. Now, her eyes do change to like a blue color, but what we see of her hands when she's in her monster form versus when she was like normal, they kind of just look the same. So, from what we actually see of her, what isn't obscured under the cloth, she looks the same. What I think happened is the Mirror Man put a curse on her. I don't think he has the ability to change people in the way we all think he does. I think he has the ability to curse people and change their perceptions of themselves. That's also what her blue eyes are. It is a visual representation of the curse still being active on her. The only thing that changes are her eyes, and it's just a visual reflection of the curse that she's being affected by. I also think that's what's happening with the lady in Little Nightmares 1. I think that's why all the mirrors on the mall are broken. She tried to get rid of him. I think she was a victim of his curses. That's why she sees herself the way she does, the way we see herself in the Little Nightmares 1 DLC. She perceives herself to be a monster when in reality she isn't. She was cursed by him. This explains why all the mirrors are broken. She tried to get rid of them. This explains why she wears a mask to try and hide her face. I think there is more to the mask than just hiding her face. I do think, because of the Shadow Kids, her mask has some kind of magical properties, but that's a discussion for a different day. Right now we're talking about the Mirror Man. Well, I guess right now we're talking about the Mirror Man's effect on the lady. Whatever, right? This brings the question of the mirror we used to kill her at the end of the game. how does that work, right? If she is cursed by the Mirror Man, how is some other random unbroken mirror able to kill her? I mean, we see her look into a different unbroken mirror and she seems to be fine, so what gives? Now, I'm gonna be honest, I don't have a whole lot of concrete evidence to back this up, but hear me out. I think, for whatever reason, that there is something special about this one mirror that is able to defeat her. I don't think that the mirror is able to defeat her in the way a lot of people think it does. I don't think it's like draining her magic, draining her life force. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, maybe like she tries to like cast her spell to kill Six, and then Six kind of like reflects it back or something. I don't think that's the case though. My theory, what I think, is the longer a curse is on an individual in the nowhere, the longer one of these Mirror Man curses is applied to a person, it kind of replaces them, right? So, say the lady was all fully herself, if this makes sense, right? She had her full soul there. And think of the Mirror Man's curse as like a parasite that kind of hijacks her brain and makes her perceive herself in a different way. Slowly over time, this parasite feeds on her essence, feeds on her being, right? And slowly replaces her with itself in a way, like a virus. By the time we get the mirror and we break her curse, this mirror counters the Mirror Man's curse. It's like the cure to his curses, right? When we break her curse, when we get rid of that parasite, she's essentially crippled, right? It doesn't kill her right away. She's rendered kind of useless on the floor. But I think breaking the curse kind of gets rid of almost all of her. It's like the parasite hijacked her brain and kind of took over, and her brain became so dependent on the parasite, they became so interconnected that when you remove the parasite, her brain doesn't know how to function on its own anymore. Now, it's more metaphorical, it's not a literal parasite in her brain, it's like a curse, it's like some magical thing that drains her life essence. But I also think that's how the Mirror Man is able to feed. It feeds on the life essence that it's stealing from its cursed victims. That's also why I think the mirror is able to kill her. Not really kill her, but like render her half dead on the floor. To expand upon that idea, one detail that I really like is that when Six is approaching her, she kind of exposes her neck a little more, as if welcoming Six to kill her. Now, what I think happened is she's free of the curse. We saved her, right? But she's too weak to continue living. So what I think happens is she wants to live her final moments happily, curse-free, right? She spent so much time perceiving herself as a monster, as this ugly, horrid thing, and now that she doesn't anymore, she knows she can't keep living, so she wants to die happy, in a way. This also kind of ties back to the Humpback Kid. Now, I don't think she's really changed into a humpback, right? But I also think the other kids are able to perceive her as one, just because the illusions are very real, right? The curses are half tangible, half intangible. So the lady, her face doesn't actually look like that. If it did, the mask that she wears wouldn't be able to fit. Just like if we took the cloth off the girl, she would look normal. But when the runaway kid sees the lady looking into the mirror, he sees the illusion that she sees. He sees the curse as well. So I think halfway, it's like half tangible. Now, what relevance does all of this have in relation to Little Nightmares 3? If the Mirror Man is indeed the main villain of Little Nightmares 3, and if my theories are to be true, or at least they're close enough to the actual characteristics of the Mirror Man, what can we assume is gonna happen in Little Nightmares 3? What can we theorize? What can we predict? Well, let's recap what we actually know about him. We know that he is a master of illusions. He doesn't actually have these reality warping abilities. He didn't actually change the lady's face. He didn't actually change the humpback girl into a humpback girl. What he does have is the ability to place these incredibly believable curses on people that make them see these incredibly believable illusions. The kids that the girl was with were never real. The lady never looked like that, and the girl never had a humpback. She was never changed. None of them were. But he's able to create these illusions that are so incredibly believable, everyone around them thinks it's real. All of the kids around the fire think that the humpback girl is a humpback when she isn't. And the lady doesn't actually look like that, but the illusion is so powerful that the runaway kid thinks she looks like that. That's what he sees as well. He sees her monster face as well as she does, even though she doesn't actually look like that. We also know he places these curses on people because that's how he feeds. He kind of replaces their perceptions of themselves with the illusory perceptions of themselves, and what's really true about them, what they perceive to be real, that part of their mind that is still grounded in reality, that is what he feeds on. And I think a part of it is he also feeds on their fears. Now, I think the lady had a great fear of turning into a monster, turning into this evil being like everything else in the nowhere. So what she sees in the mirror is that, a monster. We also know that the humpback girl, I don't think she's actually a humpback. I don't think those other kids were real. So what's the purpose? What I think happened was the second she thought she was a humpback, the second she thought she was transformed into a monster, her so-called friends abandoned her. Her fear wasn't becoming this humpback, right? She wasn't scared of becoming disabled. She was scared of being abandoned. Now, I think the Mirror Man playing into these fears, I think we literally see it in one of the trailers for Little Nightmares 3. In this little snippet, we see Lo and Alone wake up on this bed. It looks like a hospital bed, right? They didn't get there. We don't see them get there. We see them kind of just wake up. But this room doesn't look like anywhere else we've seen in Little Nightmares 3 so far. It doesn't look like the fun fair. It doesn't look like the candy factory. It definitely doesn't look like the necropolis. I think this is an illusion of the waking world, or maybe the counties. We know the counties to be a psychiatric institute from what we know of the Sounds of Nightmares, so maybe they're waking up in the counties, but not really. Lo and Alone want to escape the nowhere, and as a means to taunt them, the Mirror Man is showing them illusions of them not doing that. He's showing them the finish line that he's saying they'll never reach, in a way. He's trying to break their spirits as a means to curse them so he could feed off of them. One last thing. I noticed a lot in the trailers that every time it shows this one main mirror, it is cracked. And in the main poster, the mirror is cracked. I think that Lo and the Mirror Man are on the same kind of plane. They're both sharing the mirrors in a way. The analogy that I thought of is like Bruce Banner and the Hulk. They're both two distinct entities, but they're both sharing a body. Whenever Bruce Banner is in control, the Hulk is kind of tucked away, and whenever the Hulk is in control, Bruce Banner's kind of tucked away. A very important part of the comics, though, is that when Bruce Banner is in control, the Hulk is still there, kind of talking to him, still affecting Bruce Banner's life. What I think is happening is Lo has control over the mirrors. He has full control over this domain. But as a means to kind of trick him, as a means to kind of break his spirits or whatever, the Mirror Man is showing him these illusions as a means to take back control of the mirror realm. I think that the Mirror Man is like the Hulk, Lo is like Bruce Banner, and the mirrors, just the ability to use them, is the vessel. It is their body. They're both fighting for it. They're both fighting for control of it. I think that the reason that the mirror is cracked whenever we see it, I think the illusions will get to Lo. They will bring him lower. They will break his spirits. They'll be effective. They'll work. They will break him. And when that happens, when he is sufficiently broken down, the mirror will break, releasing the Mirror Man. It'll be like when Bruce Banner gets angry and the Hulk comes out. When Lo is broken, the Mirror Man gets control of the mirrors back. That's what the final confrontation is going to be. Lo, having released the Mirror Man, him and Alone now have to face their fears and fight through the Mirror Man's illusions so they could come out on top and go home safely together. I think both of them will get a happy ending. I think they will face their fears, and that's the key to escaping the nowhere. But of course, we don't know for certain. We don't know until the game comes out. My theory is just that Lo and the Mirror Man are going to be fighting for control of the mirrors. In the end, Lo is going to break. He's going to reach a low point, and the Mirror Man will now have control. He'll be out and about, and we have to kind of face our fears to conquer him. All he has are his illusions, and once we see through them, he's powerless to stop us. And I think once that happens, Lo and Alone will escape together. I think they will get their happy ending. This has been my introduction to the Mirror Man, and this has been my predictions for Little Nightmares 3, as well as just my theories surrounding the Mirror Man in general. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more, comment your thoughts on the video, comment your predictions for Little Nightmares 3. I know this is kind of a shot in the dark. We don't have a lot to work with, so if you have your own theories, make sure to let me know. If you want to reach out, I have my email and Discord listed in the description. And as always, your support means so much to me. Thank you to my patrons. I really appreciate your support. And thank you for watching. I hope to see you in the next video. Be on the lookout for more theories, be on the lookout for more animations, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.